Hello, it's Esther here from Balance and Breathe, and I wanted to talk to you tonight about sleep and about the importance of sleep and how you can get better night's sleep if you struggle with that. And I know that many people struggle with sleep. It is a big problem. It's a big problem for a lot of people. Last year, I think it was last year, it was probably, yeah, it must have been last year, I did a survey. It was a very small survey, so it wasn't a particularly scientific survey, but I asked a lot of women. Well, it was about 23, I think. But I asked them what were the biggest problems that they had and the biggest causes of stress and unhappiness and so on in their life. And the overwhelmingly biggest issue that they were having out of all the options I gave them was waking up feeling tired in the mornings. So obviously not getting enough sleep, not getting good enough quality sleep. And this is a big problem for a lot of people. And sleep is really important. We really need to be able to sleep well every night. And so I was just looking at this questionnaire that I did last year, and I thought, oh yeah, I need to talk about this. So I decided to come on tonight and talk about sleep, and it's almost my bedtime, so it's a good time for me to be talking about sleep. I had a big history with insomnia for years. It started when I don't know, when I was about 10, maybe younger. I'm not sure exactly how old I was, but I watched a spoof horror film. It scared the life out of me. And after that, I was completely convinced that the minute I shut my eyes, my entire family was going to be murdered in our beds. And so it was not easy for me to be able to go to sleep most nights. And that carried on until I was an adult and lived on my own. And then I still had trouble sleeping, but I kind of realized that there was nobody waiting for me to fall asleep so they could come in and cut my head off. So, that left a pattern in me, that left problems in me, that left big sleeping issues in me. And it became part of the whole drinking far too much thing, because I managed to convince myself that alcohol helped me sleep. And of course it didn't really. But so insomnia was a big problem for me. And in the last couple of years, since I stopped drinking, and yoga has become a much bigger part of my life, and I've learned lots of strategies, I've already given you a hint. I've told you it's nearly my bedtime. I tend to go to bed around 9-10 o'clock most nights now, instead of 2 in the morning. My alarm clock is set for 5, and most mornings I get up at 5. Not every morning, I will admit, but most mornings I get up at 5. So, I've turned that around completely, gone from going to bed at like 2, sometimes even seeing sunrise, and then struggling to get up in the morning, to actually, having good night's sleep most nights. So I wanted to talk about a few strategies that I can share with you tonight that will help you to sleep. If you're watching, I can see there's one person watching. If you have any particular issues around sleep, if you have any particular problems with getting to sleep, then if you just put something in the comments, then I will address your questions. And that goes for anybody that's watching this on a replay as well. If you ask me a question, I'll get back to you. I'll answer it. Even if it's not during this actual live stream, I will come back to you and answer it. So there are lots of different things that you can do to improve your sleep. Now, this could be an hour-long webinar with, slides and all sorts of things, but I'm not doing that. I wanted this to be a fairly short introduction. Although I said that yesterday, I went on for 25 minutes. But I wanted to cover a couple of things that you can do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff around diet that you can do. There's a lot of stuff around your space, what space you're sleeping in. And there's loads and loads of things that you can do, like different essential oils and all sorts of stuff. I do know lots more, but tonight I'm just going to talk around a few of just 3 things that I've picked. And I'm going to end with taking you through a relaxation technique, which you can then take into your When you go to bed, you can practice it when you go to bed, and you can actually get it as a freebie off my website as well. So I will, before I leave, I will find the link for you to be able to get that. So the first thing I want to talk about is firstly about why we need sleep, why it's important that we sleep. Now, we all know we need to sleep, but there's quite a lot of research being done around why we need sleep. And as far as I can make out from what I've read, scientists don't entirely know exactly why we need to sleep, but they know that it's very important for our physical well-being and our mental well-being. When we sleep at night, it allows our brain to kind of reset and process all the information that we've received throughout the day. And that's what our dreams are. Our dreams are the brain sort of filing stuff away, processing what has happened to us, what we've seen, and the things that we've seen but not noticed as well. So, you know, the stuff that's going into the subconscious but not going into the conscious brain. So when we sleep, the mind, the brain can kind of filter all that, sort it out, think like, you know, we need that, we don't need that, and filter it all away so that our brains are kind of clear of the garbage that we could be picking up around us. We need a certain amount of sleep cycles every night. We need the rapid eye movement sequence of sleep. That's when the biggest brain activity is going on. That's when we get the flickering eyes. If you've ever seen somebody sleeping, we get that flickering eye movement. And that's when the brain cleansing is going on, the brain organizing is going on. So we need these cycles of sleep. I think I think if I remember rightly, we need 5 full sleep cycles in a good night's sleep. So if we get less than that, we're not getting enough sleep. How many hours that is varies from person to person. It goes from kind of 6 hours to about 9 is the range of what's normal for people. So there's no such thing as the right amount of sleep. There's the right amount of sleep for you. Some people can function absolutely brilliant on 6 hours. Some people need 9 hours. And you've got to find out what your right amount of sleep is. But if you're getting less than the right amount of sleep for you, or more than the right amount of sleep for you, then your sleeping isn't doing you as much good as it should be. And when we don't get enough sleep, if you're not getting enough sleep, then it leads to all kinds of other problems. So it affects your stress levels. You know, one of the best ways to clear stress from your mind is to sleep. We know, you have a problem, you sleep on it. We know that our minds benefit from sleep. You know, if you're very tired, when you're tired, you can get very irritable. You take things far too personally. You can overreact to things. You don't see things the way that they actually are. You see things from a slightly skewed angle when you're tired. You know, I mean, I don't know. We see it in children, don't we? Children, when they're tired, they can be absolutely unbearable because they just can't cope with the world when they're tired. And we're the same. You know, if you get tired, you life gets much more difficult to deal with, and as a consequence, so do we. So when we're tired, when we're not getting enough sleep, it leads to mental health problems over a long term. In the short term, it just leads to irritability, lack of focus, lack of concentration. The cognitive processes don't work so well in the brain when we're tired. Memory doesn't work so well. We're just not as alert and not as productive, not as effective as you can be when you've had a good night's sleep. So, the sleep is good we need it for the brain. We also need it for the body when we're tired. If you go to work in the morning and you're tired, you might grab a bar of chocolate on the way. You're kind of mainlining coffee all morning. You might have, a jam donut. The amount of times I convinced myself a jam donut was a good breakfast because it gives you that sugar hit, and when you're tired, that gives you that energy. And so you tend to eat high calorie, high energy, but low nutrition foods when you're tired, because we go for that quick fix. So sleep deprivation over a long period of time actually leads to weight gain. It leads to all kinds of other unhealthy dietary things like too much coffee. You know, we've got the rise of the hideous energy drinks that you see teenagers going for in the mornings on their way to school, which worries me terribly. But also then so lack of sleep also then leads to things like blood pressure problems and heart problems. It's a factor in lots of other health issues as well. So sleep is really important. We really need to get good night's sleep. So how can we get better sleep then? So if you are struggling with sleep, really the last thing you want to hear is all the reasons why lack of sleep is bad for you. But there is a way that you can improve your sleep. There are lots and lots of ways. I'm going to focus here, as I've already said, on 3 things. So the first thing, the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems that will stop you being able to sleep is worry. It's, you know, when you get to bed, your head hits the pillow and your brain starts going, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember this? Do you remember you forgot this? You didn't do this? You messed up there. Oh, didn't you make a fool of yourself 20 years ago when you said this? And all of these things that your brain does to you when you're trying to get to sleep. And so a really effective way to offload a lot of the stuff that you might have playing on your mind is to start to journal, write a diary. And if you're feeling particularly low about anything, you know, if you've got worries, if you're really worried about stuff, start doing a gratitude list. And this is the big thing, is gratitude list. If you spend 10-15 minutes at the end of your day writing down all the reasons that you have to be grateful in your life, whether it's things that have gone well that day or things that are really going well in your life or things that just make you feel good when you're having a crap day. You know, if you're having a rubbish day, you know you can phone up your friend, you know you can have a nice soak in the bath. The things that feel good in your life, the things that are worth celebrating in your life, no matter how small, if you write those things down and get into the habit of doing that, it lifts your mood. And it takes away the negativity. You know, when you're feeling grateful, it's impossible to feel negativity as well. You can either feel grateful or you can feel negative. You can't really do the two at the same time. So if you write that gratitude list, it takes away a lot of the worries, a lot of the anxiety, and it puts you in a happier frame of mind. It puts you in a more positive frame of mind. And when we're feeling good, it's a lot easier to fall asleep. Journaling as well, writing down, write down what happened in the day, get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper, and then there's less reason to ruminate over, you go over the same thought over and over again. I've had many nights in the past where I've actually thought that a particular thought process would actually drive me insane, that I was actually going to lose my mind that night because I couldn't get this one thought, this one problem out of my head. So you write it down, get it out of your head. Even if you know you have a piece of paper and you write down the same thing over and over and over until it's out of your system. Just get it out of your head and then it'll go. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like, yes, it's the funky keep you awake all night party. Yeah, I know that one. I've been there so many times, Jackie. This is what happens to us. You get that party, but it's a crap party, isn't it? It's just it's not the sort of party you want to go to. I certainly know inside of my head when I couldn't sleep, it was never a party I want to be invited to, because everyone's complaining, mainly. Everyone's moaning and bitching about how terrible life is, or they're talking about the same thing over and over again, and it's just a boring party. So yeah, write all that stuff down, get it all down on a piece of paper. And even if you're lying in bed and you're tossing and turning and you can't get to sleep, instead of lying there wishing your brain would empty, turn the light on, get a piece of paper and write it all down. You will find it easier to fall asleep if you get it out of your head. So that's gratitude. So gratitude and writing things down. Yesterday, if you saw my video yesterday, I waxed lyrical about the benefits of writing stuff down for just healing your head anyway. So, you know, it helps with sleep. It definitely helps with sleep. So gratitude, writing things down, that's my first tip. The second tip, if you've listened to me talking at all at any point in time, you're going to probably not be surprised that I'm about to tell you that your breathing is also really helpful. Hi Joanne, good to see you. So breathing is just such a powerful aid to sleep. I mean, you know, breathing, yeah, we're all breathing all the time, I know that, but deep breathing, focusing your attention on your breathing. When you're lying in bed, if you can't get to sleep and you've got the funky disco going on in your head, if you start to focus on your breath and really focus your attention on your breath, the way that you do, Jackie, Beth, if you're still here, the way that we do at the start of our yoga classes, the way you do in a meditation session, really focusing on your breathing and just watching the breathing. You don't have to change the breathing. You don't have to do anything apart from be aware of your breath and keep that focus on your breath. And it helps to take your attention away from the chitter chatter in your mind. It helps to relax your body. It gives your brain something else to think about, and it allows your body to calm down and relax. And when you've got your body relaxed, your brain tends to follow. You know, we've got that amazing connection between our mind and our body, that when we relax the body, the mind relaxes, and when we relax the mind, the body relaxes. So we've got this lovely, symbiotic relationship going on, that they're relaxing each other at the same time, and it really is incredibly powerful. So you can just focus on your breath. You can just pay attention to your breath, or there are different breathing techniques that you can learn that will also help you to relax, and then when you're relaxed, you'll fall asleep. And the one that I'm going to teach you, the one that I'm going to take you through this evening, is in the style of yoga that I was taught. It's called the 22 body part relaxation. You may, if you've done any of Jon Kabat-Zinn's meditation stuff, you will know it as a body scan meditation. So when you start at the toes and you relax your body all the way up. Now, I remember my mum doing this when I was a little girl and I couldn't sleep. I think it was actually before the stupid horror film that scared me and stopped me being able to sleep for the next 10 years. But I remember being very small. It was in the first bedroom that I can remember, and being really small and not being able to sleep. And I remember my mother telling me to just go through telling my muscles to relax. Now, I remember doing that a few times when I was little, and it does work. You know, you think, again, it's that mind-body connection. So when we think about relaxing a certain part of the body, it tends to relax that certain part of the body. So, hey Leanne, hello. My lovely sister-in-law has joined us. I've spent the day with my little nephew today, so I've had a lovely day. So thank you, Leanne, for letting me borrow your son for the day. So the body scan, the 22 body part relaxation, is what I want to take you through this evening. So we're going to be moving on to that in a little while. And so with your breathing, to come back to your breathing, when you're doing this focusing on your breathing, it doesn't have to be, it's like, you know, it's not about emptying your brain. You're not going to be able to completely empty your brain. It's about taking your focus away from the thoughts that are in your head and taking it to the breath. So it's just about focusing your attention on the breath. And when you do that, when you focus on your breath, and when you're really present with your breath, it helps you to relax. If you were to take that further and deepen the breath, to take longer, deeper breaths, filling your lungs completely, so you're really, really taking in lots of oxygen and you're really releasing lots of carbon dioxide, you're going to also have the added benefit there of calming down your nervous system and really relaxing. That helps to really relax the nervous system and just bring you to a much calmer place. So deep breathing is my next tip. So focusing on your breathing and try and deepen that breathing. If you find the deeper breathing uncomfortable or difficult, if you're very new to it, then just keep the focus on the breathing. Just keep your mind focused on your breath, and you will find that you relax. And the other thing, the final thing before I do the relaxation that I want to share with you is a bit of advice that I need to take myself a little bit more often as well. And it's about our gadgets. Now, when I shared earlier on today an article about sleep, and my brother commented on that he had taken his laptop to bed with him and he'd fallen asleep watching Yes Prime Minister on Netflix, and that's what he does quite often. And I was guilty of that as the next person. My alarm clock is on my phone. I've got music on my phone. We have, as a society now, we've got these things that we all, or most of us, many of us at least, take into our bedrooms with us, and they are fiendishly distracting. So if you're lying in bed and you can't sleep, hands up how many of you go on Facebook? See my hands up. I will admit to this. I've recently discovered the joy of airplane mode, where you switch off, you can't get any text messages, you can't get any notifications, your internet goes, everything goes, and you have to make a conscious choice to turn that back on then. So I can still have my Kindle app and I can still have my music. But if you can, and this is advice, I know when I do this, I get a much better night's sleep. If you can, leave your phones, your tablets, your laptops, any of your devices out of the bedroom, you're going to get a better night's sleep. You absolutely, without a doubt, will get a better night's sleep, because they are distracting. They are, they've got those bright lights that interfere with the sleep as well. I know that a lot of the Kindle models have got special lights in them so that they've got a backlight that doesn't affect your sleep, but the bright lights on phones, on tablets, on laptops, they interfere with the production of melatonin, which is the brain, the hormone that tells the brain it's bedtime. So when we're looking at these screens right up until the time we go to bed, or even when we're trying to sleep, it's actually telling our brain it's daytime. So it's going to affect your sleep then. It's going to affect your brain's ability to switch off and go to sleep. So if you can, keep your laptops, keep your devices out of your bedroom. Get an alarm clock that isn't a phone. They do still exist. So that's my final tip for the evening. I have loads more. And on that subject, before I go into the relaxation now, I just wanted to share with you that this is actually something that I was thinking might be helpful to develop something more about. So if you do have a problem with sleep, I would really love to be able to talk to you, not to try and sell you anything, not to try and persuade you to work with me or anything, but I would just love to find out about your problems with sleep so that I know a bit more about the problems that people are experiencing with sleep. I know what I've experienced, and I know a little bit from what I've heard from other people, but I would really love to get, if we can have a one-to-one conversation, I would love to be able to talk to you, and in exchange for that, in exchange for your time, I will give you some more tips, techniques, teach you some breathing exercises, teach you some relaxation techniques as a thank you. So, if you've got maybe half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour that you could spare, that you could talk to me about your issues and what you think, or just to find out how you sleep and how you feel when you wake up, what you do at bedtime, I'd love to know. So if that's something you'll be able to do, please get in touch, drop me a line, and we can arrange a time when I can speak to you, and then I can give you some help in return. So moving on now then, we'll do the relaxation. I'm not going to make this into a 10-minute relaxation, which I would do if this was in my yoga class, because it's a bit weird sitting on live stream not doing anything. But I'm just going to take you through the practice, and so you can listen, you can get a feel for what it is, and then I will share the link. Let me just grab my I'll grab the link for you to be able to get the download of the relaxation as well. So if you just sit up straight, or if you're lying down, if you want to lie down, you can lie down. What's happening? This is weird. Okay, something weird's going on with my thing. Is that better? Yeah. So if you're lying down, lie down, have your body nice and straight. If you're sitting up, sit up nice and straight and close your eyes. And we're going to start just by coming into the moment, just by coming into the breath, just taking some deep breaths and focusing your attention onto the breath. So this is a practice for what I was talking about earlier on. We're just paying attention, noticing the breath. Not changing the breath, not doing anything to the breath at the moment, just noticing as you breathe in, noticing how it feels to take a deep breath in, and then noticing how it feels as you breathe out. And just being fully present with each inhalation and each exhalation. Noticing where in the body the breath is going. Noticing if you're breathing through your nose or through your mouth. If the breath is going to the bottom of the lungs, or the middle, or the top. Noticing what it feels like to notice your breath. You may not have noticed your breath all day. Just stop and notice the breath. Now let's deepen the breath a little. To see if you can take the breath to 6 seconds in length. Breathing in and out. And in and out. And in, out, and then take your awareness down to your toes, just thinking about your toes, and relax. And then we're going to think about the rest of the feet and the ankles, and relax. Now moving up the legs to the calves, relax the muscles of the calves. And then coming up and relaxing the thighs. Now moving up to the buttocks, relax the buttocks. And moving up now to the pelvic area, relax. Coming up now to the lower back and relax. Relax the abdomen. Relax the chest. And relax your shoulders. And then moving down the arms, we're thinking about the fingers and the thumbs, and relax. And the rest of the hands and the wrist, and relax. Moving up the arms, relax the lower arms. And then coming past the elbows to relax the upper arms. Coming up now to the neck. Relax the neck and the throat, and relax the jaw and the mouth, making sure your tongue is nice and loose in the mouth. Relax the cheeks and the nose, and relaxing the eyes and the forehead. Coming now behind the ears, relaxing the behind the ears, and then moving to the back of the head. Relaxing all the muscles at the back of the head, and then moving to the top of the head. And then taking your awareness between your eyebrows. Focus your attention between your eyebrows. And take a few breaths, keeping the attention focused on the eyebrows, allowing your whole body and mind to relax. And then when you're ready, just slowly open your eyes. And I hope that that's helped you to feel a little bit more relaxed. If you do that when you're in bed, it will certainly help you to relax your body and your mind, and help you to get a better night's sleep. And it's a very powerful way to relax. We do it at the end of all of my yoga classes, and I often do it if I struggle to get sleep. So I'm just now looking for the link to give you, so that you can get access to the downloads. There's a page on my website that has a lot of freebies for you. So I'm just getting that form for you now, and I'm going to put the link in the there it is. Sorry, right, here's the link. So I'll just give you this form now. So if you want to get those downloads, you can. Here comes the link into the comments now. And as I said earlier on, if you have any sleeping problems and you would like to get some tips from me for free, as a thank you for helping me by giving me a little bit of information about what issues you're facing and how a potential solution might look for you, then I would be really, really grateful to hear from you. So you could drop me a message either through this page or on my personal page if we connected on there. So thank you very much for joining me this evening. I am going to now finish my chamomile tea. It's my Pukka Herbs nighttime tea, which is another recommendation. Herbal teas, always good. Oh, Lisa, you've just missed it. We've just finished, sweetheart. But you can watch the replay. So yeah, I would love to hear from you, and thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all have a really good night's sleep. So thank you very much. Bye.